so perfect to host this event. We'll be back here again next year. Keith Gavin and Steve Luke, the 1 versus 2 at 174.
Well, Keith Gavin second last year to Ben Askren. He's super solid. He's strong and tough to score on. He's just solid as heck everywhere in every position. Good small-town Pennsylvania kid.
He also won the Eastern Wrestling League to qualify here to the Nationals and carries a 26-0 record into this match.
Steve Luke has always been a fast starter. He tries to score fast here. Look at in on that leg just like that. He works on leg attacks, and he's on from the start.
He backed himself right out of bounds.
Right.
He had a good shot going there, but took it out of bounds.
Ready.
It's just like he likes to do it. He starts fast. He tends to slow down in a match, but Luke's prescription for a win is to get in, get on him, and score fast.
Gavin is a senior, Luke a junior, and Luke was an All-American last year, 6th at this weight.
Continue here, guys. Let's go. Work through it. Work through it. Break. Ready.
Steve Luke from Massillon, Ohio, Perry High School. Top recruit 4 years ago. Redshirt junior. Gavin out of Factoryville, Pennsylvania. Sounds like a small town, doesn't it?
Sure does.
Lackawanna Trail High School.
So many great wrestlers come from the state of Pennsylvania.
One fact from last year's championships where Luke took 6,
on the edge,
he
guys. Let's
wasn't
go.
taken down once. Not a once.
8 matches, too, and he didn't get taken down. These two met one time this year with Gavin winning 3-2 in tiebreaker, so they're close, and they're back on center stage. Number 1, number 2, just like it's supposed to be drawn up.
Luke was saying that wrestling Gavin is like a chess match. We know each other's style.
Actually had 10 of his matches this year go into overtime.
Break.
And then his semifinal match against Brown,
get it going
that
here.
went to sudden victory. So he doesn't mind if the match goes long.
Our referee for this match is Mike Haggerty.
Haggerty was a longtime coach. He's a coach that has done a great job, been a great ambassador for the sport of wrestling, and now has been in the officiating for a long time. One of the best in the nation, or the Kansas City area.
We're good. We're good. Keep that wrist. We're good. Keep the wrist, Steve. We're good. Now we're out.
Nice job by Luke of knowing where he was on the edge with the time left. He knew he had his eye on the clock.
And nothing doing here in this first period. We're going out for a very special report with Quint Kesman.
Both of you.
Dave, I'm joined by Simon Roberts, 1957 national champion from Iowa, the first African-American NCAA wrestling champ in history, who's being honored here this week with 40 or other so pioneers. And Simon, when you think back to the 1950s, what were some of the obstacles that you faced as a wrestler?
Well, I think just the fact that wrestling was not a sport that was widely accepted in the black community. There were a couple of role models that I had. A couple of real good buddies of mine lived in the neighborhood that wrestled, but other than that, there was no real encouragement to participate in the sport. So that was the biggest obstacle, was you know, finding someone to share not only your wrestling ability, but to share the experience that you had.
When people call you a pioneer, what does that mean?
Well, it means a great deal to me because all the fine wrestling like we're seeing here at the national tournament, as well as looking at some of the people in the past that followed after I won the championship. That's really been really great for me. It's really made me feel as though I made a contribution.
Keith, Gavin with a takedown. Final question. When you talk to young people, what do you emphasize about your story?
Just make sure he's clean, Coach.
Well, I think the biggest thing I emphasize is the value of wrestling. Wrestling is a sport. The carryover is just unbelievable. And it teaches you a lot about life. And I usually try to get young people to understand that you have to make sacrifices in order for you to achieve anything. And I think the sport of wrestling served that purpose for me. And of course, I had a lot of help along the way, my coaches, my teammates, the whole bit. But it's an individual sport, and when you're out there on that wrestling mat, there's just two people.
Simon, congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Dave, it was interesting. Simon and I talking about his championship match more than 50 years ago. He could remember it to the second.
I don't doubt that for a minute. Talk about a former champion, honored this year, long overdue, so dignified in his responses. It was a pleasure to listen to him speak.
He was a great champion, and I was at the induction last year at the Dan Gable International Wrestling Institute and Museum, where he was inducted into the Glen Brand, Iowa Wrestling Hall of Fame. Well-deserved honor, and he's a tremendous champion.
And back to the match, something unique happened. Luke got taken down.
Didn't happen at all last year in 8 matches in 60-some minutes, and he never got taken down. But he let Gavin go in the start of that second period, and then he got taken down by Gavin to go behind 3-0. He went behind 3-0.
And then got the point escape.
Continue, let's go.
Now look how much weight Gavin is putting. He's making Luke work with that lower back right there. That's not what he wants. And so that's a lot of pressure on Luke. Gavin doing a really nice job there of putting pressure on the lower back of Luke, not allowing him any kind of opportunity to score.
So that's the end of the second period. And the Iowa Hawkeyes are the champions. They wrapped that up actually last night.